The General Industries Workers Union of South Africa, GIWUSA, has condemned the 30% export tariffs imposed on South Africa by the U.S. administration. It says the move is aimed at punishing South Africa for its affirmative action policies and, amongst others, its International Court of Justice prosecution.
Welcome back, folks. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. I warned everyone that the propaganda campaign would start and go into full swing when these tariffs took effect. President Trump's reciprocal tariff regime has begun on August 1st, with the actual charges being applied 7 days afterwards, and the propaganda has already started from politicians, from the media, and also from organizations most people have never heard of. South Africa is no exception. The General Industries Workers Union of South Africa, GIWUSA, has condemned the 30% export tariffs imposed on South Africa by the U.S. administration and the sweeping executive order targeting dozens of nations.
We obviously condemn in a strong as possible way this 30% tariff increase. And I think what it represents is a policy of an imperialist aggression and terror with a view, obviously, to subduing South Africa and quite a number of countries.
The organization claims the move is aimed at punishing South Africa for its affirmative action policies and, amongst others, its International Court of Justice prosecution of Israel's actions in Gaza. Now, that's just silly, folks. Trump didn't apply tariffs like this during his first term, and these affirmative action policies were in place then. Also, these tariffs are directed at over 80 countries, many of whom have no such thing as affirmative action, and none of whom are persecuting Israel in a prosecution over Gaza. So what is this gobbledygook that this guy's coming up with here? Now, of course, this is just cognitive dissonance at best, outright propaganda at worst. GIWUSA adds that the move is further aimed at some sovereign economies whose systems are resisting U.S. domination. Resisting U.S. domination. Okay. And they also call on folks to defy U.S. tariff terrorism. Tariff terrorism. So what do 75% South African tariffs on U.S. poultry imports equate to? South African domination? South African tariff terrorism? Or the ANC's artificial restrictions to prevent U.S. pork from entering the South African marketplace? Does that make them a terrorist state? What about the automobile quotas that restrict the importation of U.S. manufactured vehicles into South Africa? All the while applying no such restrictions to cars from the communist paradise of China. The Chinese ship their cars in and have been stealing market share from everyone else with no restrictions. But you limit the number of American cars that come in. Do you see the lies from these distorting propagandists who try to make this as it's some sort of terror regime that these tariffs are being applied? No, your economy restricts our imports illegitimately, immorally, and have been doing it for decades. And now, when we want fair, even trade, you call it terrorism? In a statement on Saturday, August 2nd, 2025, GIWUSA called for a fighting strategy in response to the tariffs, which it said should include the nationalization of affected industries. Oh, so now you want to steal our foreign direct investment. So here's an idea for you, GIWUSA. Stop lying, drop the trade barriers, and start directing your ire at the African National Congress, which has lied about engaging the U.S. on the topic of tariffs. On Friday, August 1st, 2025, the ANC-led Government and National Union announced it was developing measures to soften the blow for exporters, and it's coming up with a plan on Friday, after the tariffs took effect. What a joke. I have cautioned the South African government for 18 months that the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, which gave you duty-free access, isn't it funny? We gave you duty-free access to our marketplace, which you didn't reciprocate for 25 years. And when we put tariffs on your products, it's a terrorist regime? Please, give me a break. Give me a break. 25 years of duty-free access, and you called it terrorist tariffs. What are your 75% tariffs on poultry? Your artificial barriers on our automobile imports? And the other barriers that the South Africans erect to keep us out of the marketplace while we give you unfettered access to our marketplace? Grow up. Grow up. And this government knew for 18 months that a goal was unlikely to be extended. They've known for sure it's not going to be extended for the past 5 months. Meanwhile, Trump imposed reciprocal tariffs on virtually the entire world, not simply South Africa. Meanwhile, Trump imposed tariffs on virtually the entire world. South Africa wasn't singled out. This isn't because of Gaza in the ICJ case. This isn't because of transformation. That's a whole other kettle of fish. These reciprocal tariffs are because you're unfair trade practices against the United States. So end them and the tariffs can end. Pretty simple. Why should you get special access to our marketplace when you exclude us from yours? That's not fair. And as far as terrorism, well, if you're going to use that phrase, it's most applicable to South Africa, not to the United States. Cheers.